In this video I'm going to show you how to remove the platen on mid-century Olivettis. They're quite a bit different from conventional typewriters such as Royal Remington, Underwood. One of the things that needs to be done, so the difference mainly is that instead of set screws that are on the end or on the shaft of each carriage knob, which you would undo and then pull them out, or there's a shaft that runs through the platen. With these typewriters, the carriage knobs have a tapered and threaded end and are actually screwed into the platen themselves. Now the issue is with these machines is that after 60 years, those most often have completely seized and are impossible to take apart. There are a few ways to do it. This applies to portables and ultra portables of Olivetti from around 1950 on to about 1970. You'll have to see if this applies to your typewriter, but I've seen it with Olivetti Letras, I've seen it with the Studios, I've seen it with, if I recall, Underwood 21, which essentially is also an Olivetti. The best thing to do before you start off is to take some 3-in-1 oil and just put a skosh on each end of the shaft that runs through the carriage end where it meets the platen, and let it soak for about half an hour. It might be enough, it takes a while, it depends on the viscosity of your oil. If you use a thinner oil such as Remington gun oil, it might be a little bit more effective quicker, but I find that 3-in-1 oil works just fine. Now let's get started here. The way we're going to do this is that I find that this end of the this knob always comes off easier. I think it's because of the angle that you have, if you're right-handed, the angle that you have grip. Because you're going to have to grip the platen and put your back into this, because it usually they're stuck quite well. So I'm going to see if we can get this undone. There it goes. Now I don't know if this applies, or if this is a right hand, left hand thing where the ergonomics are essentially what make this difficult on one side and easy on the other side. I don't know if you left-handed people find that that knob comes off easier, but for me that one is always a problem. Now I'm thinking it's not, because there is a groove on each end of the shaft on this side of the machine, and it's not on the other side. But as you can see, this is the platen knob, and it has the tapered and threaded end. It's also going to have that on this side. Now be mindful that this also contains the ratchet gear for the line spacing mechanism. So we're going to take a number 6 wrench, and we're going to slide that over the slot that is grooved into the shaft for the carriage knob. Get a hold of the platen as best as we can, get a grip on that, and see if you can break it loose. Now I have soaked this in oil for about half an hour, so we'll see what happens here. I find that the leverage you get with a wrench is better, and it's also just, you protect the plastic on the knob a bit more, because if you put all that torque into the plastic you might break it. So anyways, get that on there and go. I can get a hold here. There it goes. And there it is. Now on the ultra portables I don't believe this is an issue, but on these machines you have the ruler that runs along the face of the carriage over here. You're going to have to take that off because the platen will not pass by that. There's 4 screws that hold that in place. And besides, if you're servicing one of these, I know a lot of gunk can build up underneath the feed plate of the carriage. all kinds of eraser shavings. So you want to take this off anyways in order to have access to that, even though we're going to take off the platen, the feed rollers, and the feed plate. And I'll show you what those parts are here in a minute. First, let me take off the ruler. I apologize if the view isn't the greatest. This is a spur of the moment video, but I figured it might help some people who are stuck trying to figure out how the platen comes out of an Olivetti. Well, that's the way to do it. Oh, there's a fifth screw. Wouldn't you know it? Of course there is, and it's right smack dab in the center. So, with my luck, I can't get to it. Nope, that's gonna be a bit tricky. Oh, no, it slides right off. Perfect, so. There's the ruler. And yep, as you can see, a lot of dirt on that, so we're gonna have to clean that, so it has to come off anyways. Now, make sure you release the paper mechanism, the paper grip mechanism, because it lowers, it slacks the feed plate that runs underneath the platen and the feed roller, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you're gonna have to work the platen out. And these, be mindful not to discard. There we go. And there is your platen. And then in order to take out the feed rollers and the feed plate, that pops out like that. There it is. Now when you reinstall these, be mindful that you clean them. Because the thing is that if you leave debris on this and it has an edge to it, you can scar that platen up like there's no tomorrow. And then that kind of ruins your day. Most often, on most typewriters I've seen, the larger feed rollers are in the back. This one has it has 4 larger diameter feed rollers in the back, and then the smaller feed rollers in the front. Machines like Remington, Royal, I've seen that have one giant feed roller made out of metal or wood, rubber, and then the smaller ones go in the front. If I put that down there. Anyways, that is how you take out the platen in an Olivetti Underwood Studio 44 in this instance, but it applies to most Olivetti products, typewriters from around 1950 on to 1970. If you have any more questions, please let me know.